All right. Good evening, everybody. Can you guys hear and see us okay? Muted? No, I'm not. Shouldn't be muted. Should not be muted. You should have had the wonderful intro. Looks and hear. You could hear. You could hear me.
You
How
sound
about
good
you,
to me.
Coach Jay? You could hear? Yeah.
You sound good to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Last night I left it on mute by accident. I'm
Oh
always
yeah.
struggling with the mute button. Um, Looks sounds good. So let's just jump into it. We have a lot going on. We're seeing some volatility. Again tonight. We've seen a lot of volatility last night. We are seeing volatility again tonight during slow markets. So, as always, I'm going to go ahead and post our risk disclosure in the YouTube chat. Everybody knows and understands what it is. We talk about it all the time. It's not a signals class. Everything you see and do is for educational purposes only. But let's talk about it. I have the NASDAQ behind me, and what we're looking at is the NASDAQ daily chart. And we'll do our regular rapid fire, NASDAQ, crude oil, Nikkei, gold at 8 p.m. See if we could find a trade. We'll talk strategy. We have Coach Jay with us. It's... Can we say it's Topstep start, like pre-game for the birthday party tomorrow?
Right. The the pregame for the party. I'm with it. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, this is pre-game. Anyways, pre-game for the markets anyway. But here we are. This is the daily on the NASDAQ. And we did have a nice sell-off on Monday. Today, during the New York session, not Monday, Tuesday, on this shortened week. Today, we had a consolidation day. And you know what? This is consolidation, and this is consolidation where I am saying that this is consolidation near an area of possible support. I am bullish. I know that doesn't surprise anybody,
I don't
but
even think you had to start the class to say that.
yeah,
Everyone knew.
everyone just like, it's slow markets. Dakota's bullish. He just wants to buy the markets, whatever. But think of it like this, right? If I'll eventually catch the bottom, we'll find the bottom somewhere. Look at this. Whenever we have a sell-off and then a consolidation day, typically we see either more consolidation or we see some type of a pullback or a reversal, especially when it comes to after a sell-off, right? You go back in time. We could go through and see this. I don't want to go and keep going far back to see consolidation day after a sell-off, whereas consolidation day after a little bit of a sell-off, and just go through this and see that there typically is more consolidation. We don't see a lot of selling after, and let's go back. Maybe an argument back in last year, February, but just I'm kind of grasping for straws, looking for good examples in the market. But typically, when we do have a sell-off consolidation, we do see either a bullish day or more consolidation to follow. And yeah, let's see how it plays out. Of course, I'm going to wait to see if we can cross back above yesterday's high. We do, as Coach Jay was pointing out before we got started, we have big news. We have big news tomorrow and, of course, Friday. So we're going to continue to see, with a high likelihood, high volatility. Thoughts on this, Coach Jay, so far? I mean, from the pure technical standpoint, we did sell off. That was a massive sell-off. And we have held. We didn't have that continuation. We're seeing some buyers step in, below 19,000. Just barely as we were talking, we had 100, basically an 80-point sell-off. Immediately got back up, and we're, just hovering right under 19,000.
Yeah, I think the market has a decision to make here, whether or not it's going to continue to the upside. What I've been seeing kind of on a higher time frame is just the market stair stepping lower at any of these major levels. Right, we saw it at 21,000. We saw it on the reapproach to 20,000, and then kind of every 100 or whole number level, we've kind of seen the market stair stepping lower, and then it has that decision to make at 19K here. It looks a little heavy, but of course, the news tomorrow can change everything. I think a lot of this jobs data has been affecting the market more than inflation lately. So, potential for a catalyst tomorrow to affect the markets. And it's making a decision about 19K. Do we trade above it, or do we continue to sell off back to the lows that we saw early August?
Yeah, fair enough. Yep, and even zooming into the hourly chart, this is something I was watching where we had some support here near the end of July. We had it there basically at the end of July, and then again when we did start that major sell-off at the beginning of August. This is a key area. It's a big zone. It even came into play in the middle of August 14th, where we have sold down here, just below 19,000, 18,000. It's a zone. So this is a pretty big zone. 18,000, mid 800s, all the way back up to basically 19,000 itself. So it's held. It's held at the end of July. We did break and fell through that, and this was the dramatic beginning of August. And then when we broke back above that, of course, we came down, tested it, and then we continued that rally back up to 20,000. So here we are again. And so the question that, of course, we're asking ourselves, are we going to consolidate and then reverse and find some buyers, maybe a push up to, I don't know, 19,200 to find some resistance? We did yesterday, right? This was today. This was actually today.
Today, yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday's session today, and depending on where you're at around the world, during the New York session, we did find a lot of buyers. We rallied all the way up to 19,112, 113, somewhere right there. And ironically enough, that's when we started this big rally on August 15th. Like there is a lot of support and resistance in this zone. We rallied up there. We sold off. We came back down to the bottom of this on August 14th. And we are finding buyers again tonight. Yeah, given its low volume. However, you could see there's a lot of support. I mean, we sold off. It was just a straight downward movement. On the hourly chart, it's just no green candles, like 1, 2. You just go through and count them. That's kind of interesting. Just straight red all the way down there. And then we ran into a freaking wall, Coach Jay. And it was right there at, the lower 800s, at 830s, 824, 827. And ever since then, it's higher lows. Higher lows. We broke out. We came back, and during power hour, this is what I was excited about. And we did have a power hour trade that really went well. This was the resistance, and guess what? It was support here. Then it became resistance, and resistance is becoming support again. And here we are. Maybe do we see a breakout and a continuation, or at least a retest of those, 19,000, maybe 19,100 overnight while we wait for the big news?
Yeah. If you could pull up my screen real quick, I just want to show something. I've been over here doing arts and crafts, but I have two areas marked out, and the green rectangle is last month's CPI print, and the blue one right on top of it is last month's PPI print. So the sell-off that we got yesterday, and then the two blue and green lines you see up here are anchored VWAP from both of those prints. The sell-off that we had came from those, right? It started there in the overnight session. We sold through both of those areas, and where we rallied today was, halfway through that CPI print, which is the lower one. So the market, I think, is making a decision about, since we've had this news reaction, buyers have been in control. We've come back down to these prices. We know we have news coming out. So again, I'm looking at this as a decision-making area. Once we start getting back above this 19,165, I think I have a little bit more faith in the buyers. But, I don't think anyone is in the clear right now, especially being so close to 19K with news coming up, FOMC in a week and a half. There's a lot here.
Yeah, and I agree. And it's not just one directional, right? Right now, we've sold off so far. I don't want to look at shorts. If we do break below this, then definitely we're going to see further continuation. The next support could very well be, 18,000 from a technical standpoint. If we do break below Yeah, I see maybe 18,400, and then even if that doesn't hold, 18,000 evens right around there. And I mean, you just, do we go back down and test the lows of the beginning of August? Possibly, right?
Yeah.
But here we are. Of course, we were looking and we're wanting to see a pullback. We do have unemployment claims tomorrow, and then the following day, Friday, is the same thing. There's actually unemployment rate for Canada that could make an effect. Not really sure. I haven't really paid attention to Canadian news and how that affects. But of course, the big non-farm payroll unemployment rates, and then I don't. Of course, Fed member Waller speaking in the afternoon. Whatever he's going to have to say about the markets.
Yeah.
But non-farm is going to be a big one.
That's the big one for sure. That is the big one. I see a comment from Ain't Nothing But A, says, I don't expect a market crash. I don't expect a crash either, but I just don't want to be surprised at some more downward movement to the 18,600s if that's what the market decides that it's going to do.
Yeah. This is looking more like a higher low from the beginning of August. I mean, to me, and it's just I'm always under the impression. I always view the markets as, oh man, this was a big sell-off. In a few weeks, we're going to be talking about how great of an opportunity this was to buy it.
Right.
Because every single time we look back at the markets, every single sell-off was a great opportunity to buy it. The question always is, how deep is this sell-off going to be? Are we done? Do we have more of the selling to continue? And you know what I like to look at, Coach Jay, average true moves. When we get a sell-off, how far do we sell off?
I don't know if you're sharing your screen, Dakota.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. There we go.
There you go.
So when we do sell off, how far do we sell off? So we had this sell off around August 7th, and that was from basically 844 or 544 down to quite a big. These were big moves. That's how far we've sold off today. Very similar. Maybe we could take a look at a sell-off that we had at the end of July and see where we were from there till we found support. I mean, very similar. And teach however you want to measure these moves when we do have these massive sell-offs. And now this is very zoomed out. So, I mean, we're really at that area where I'm not surprised to see this consolidation. I wouldn't be, I'm actually thinking we can have a nice pullback, and this is I'm thinking overnight. I'm thinking before the news tomorrow. So everything that I am looking at right now is going to happen. I'm looking at between tonight and the news, thinking overnight trades. The news can affect this, of course. But yeah, I see more continuation to the long side between now and to tomorrow, or at least the consolidation. I don't know if we could rally up to 19,100 during the London session, but that is very, very possible. And now that I'm looking at this, Coach Jay, I am liking longs for an overnight trade. Like, there is a decent trade that I see setting up to where if we break above maybe these 80s, and we could very well have a stop loss below that pivot we just made, and looking for some profits, for a good 1-to-1 risk reward somewhere near the highs that we made during the New York session. Like, that is a possibility between now and tomorrow.
And that pivot you're saying is around the 67 area, 68 area?
Let me. I'm zooming into a 5-minute. The one that we just made, that pivot area I'm seeing is like 891, 880s.
Oh, okay, much lower. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So just maybe something like that. We are continuing to see buyers step in. I might just jump into this because we do have that we do have the trade that we do at gold, and it's been kind of not that great. So I'm gonna just do that. I'm gonna jump in here. I'm going to get in long NASDAQ. Looks like we can have a possibility of a break above these 988s. So let's do that. These are micros. Let's see if we get into a micro position. I like to get into maybe a half, 5 micros. Maybe we're going to just miss this. Trying to get in at the bid before if we have this breakout. Yeah, that, and then I'll scale into it. I'll scale into this, and my stop loss was going to be below 967. 967. I think that's what you were looking at, right, Coach?
967. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
below this, what's showed up as
Right.
support. I'm going to go ahead and
Exactly.
move my stop loss right down there. And I'm going to change this to ticks because I've been journaling and we've been, journaling everything in ticks. Those are percentages. We're going to do ticks. And I'm doing this in the slow markets combine. See if we could get into a long to play a breakout. What does that get us in? 2 contracts? Got us in 2 contracts. I'm going to try and get into 5 micros. And I'll continue to add. So that's the first entry. We'll do 3. If we do start to sell off a little bit and test this and then turn around, then I'll add to it. Some take profits. The first ones that I'm starting to see is around this 19,020s if we could get there. So near the top of this wick that we've seen, right near the end of power hour, and then maybe even hold 1 or 2 micros overnight. See if we could have a nice runner. We'll see. We'll see, and we'll journal it. Oh, and there she blows. There
you go.
That that was 10 points, like it was nothing. That
See what the market thinks at 19K. Not a lot sitting there. There's only 16 on the offer at 19. Even.
Yeah, I'm looking at micros, so it's going to be a little bit different than what you're probably seeing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a breakout trade, guys. They don't always work out like that. And now this is not signals. Let's go ahead and let's do our normal journaling. Let's do our journaling and let's make sure we get all this in the book. There you guys go. Stop loss is going to be below this. This resistance, we're going to be risking 71 ticks as our normal stop loss. Then we'll have an aggressive stop loss that we normally do. And once we get to a point, we'll start looking at the other markets. We kind of started trading early, so let's go.
Hey, when an opportunity presents itself, like you said with David Green, right? If your charts are open and a setup presents itself, you got to take it.
Yeah, it's like, well, you know what, guys? Taking this trade is just as, if not more educational than just sitting here analyzing these other markets that we might not even be trading. Oh, whoa. There we go. Break of 1900. Yeah, if only you had more on.
Always. It's like, I should have just traded that with 30 minis instead.
In my XFAs, in my live account. Yeah, that's always the story of it. That's the story of how it was on Power Hour too. Get into a good trade on the house account, and you just never have enough on.
Some nice volume there too.
Yeah, it's almost like we knew, right?
Happy birthday, Topstep.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
we brought the volume for Topstep's birthday.
Yeah, let's see if we could hold above this because I'm not liking that major rejection out of those 19,000s.
Yeah.
Yep. We didn't really quite get up there to 19, like the teens, 19, 19 or any there. So let's watch this. Let's watch how this plays out and maybe if we could get a reason to trail this. The first area that I'm thinking about trailing it is below, 983 3/4. Below where that breakout candle started on the 1-minute chart. We'll watch it. This is resistance. We broke out of resistance. So now let's see if resistance becomes support. So far, so good. Our entry and this where the breakout occurred is becoming support. So let's just watch this. Let's see. Yeah, we could trade. Remember, just like the old pits, we're all here. You guys could trade in your own way, but this is not a signals class. It's not.
Not at all. Say that again for Matt. Where's Matt? Matt's still in here. Matt, this is not a signals class. Trade at your own risk.
Yep. Yeah, I still haven't learned out how to just ban traders.
Click the 3 dots next to their name.
Yeah,
Nah, I'm just playing with you.
There we go. No, I got rid of him. Them. Oh, don't you love it? Okay, yep. So now that became support. So we broke out. This was resistance. We broke out, and now we came back and tested it, and resistance became support. So I'm going to move this aggressive stop loss right there. Now on the aggressive one, we're only going to be risking 11 ticks, and we'll see how that goes. There.
So I'm trying to see. I don't think the Topstep daily level's updated yet because I'm trying to get what settlement price is.
Okay.
It looks like we rejected off of today's Wednesday. We rejected off of Tuesday's settlement price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we rejected off of Tuesday's settlement price, which is 1905.
Right where the high of that wick is when we originally broke out. Yeah, there is a lot of resistance that we've seen during power hour at that level, but it is slow markets. There's low volume, and yeah, like that was basically it. We analyzed this from a higher time frame, and then we started to zoom in, and yeah, this was resistance. We had a few consolidations, some pullback, and that was the trade. Let's see where this trade takes us tonight and into this session, whether it's getting stopped out at 11 ticks, seeing how the normal stop loss plays out, saying there. Let's go ahead. I want to make sure I mark out the entry because that was a beautiful, just almost like on replay, right? You knew it was going to break out.
The other day I called Rips. I said Rips is like Tony Romo when he's calling the football game and he calls the play before it happens. You kind of just did the same thing. It's like, yeah, it's just going to break out here and there it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's like that. How was your trading today, Coach Jay? I know it was,
I took one long in the ES during that chop. I was looking for a trade up to 55.65, and through the choppy mess, I think I took 7 points out of it and then called it a day. Left, got a haircut, checked Topstep X on my phone, and I saw the markets were trading at the same prices they were when I left. I said, I'm very happy I'm not trading this right now because I could be getting chopped up.
Yeah, I know. I seen the shoulder tap, and I think that's going to possibly be the rest of this week. In this crazy volatility, we had that huge sell-off, and a lot of times what happens is after a big sell-off, it catches a lot of traders by surprise, where it's like, wow, we had a big reversal day, or we had chop or consolidation, and traders just get smashed for some reason.
Yep.
Fortunately, I didn't trade this morning, but I did trade during the afternoon and during power hour. I did pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, don't worry. I see all your guys' comments in there. Some of them that can be hidden, and that is the whole goal: is to help traders. There's a leaderboard there for a reason, and I'll never encourage anybody just to trade to make it onto the leaderboard because
Never.
Yeah, it's just like
it's funny. I actually encourage people to do the opposite. Right? Trade and find where trading fits in your own life because there's not enough space on that leaderboard for everyone. It's not realistic to think that everyone's going to get there, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a great opportunity to find where trading fits in your life, whether it's supplemental income, maybe you use it as a full income. Everyone's story doesn't have to be the same.
Yeah. I mean, out of thousands of traders, like the leaderboard's top 10, right? And
right.
I'm trying to think of any good analogies in terms of like sports, right? Where you make it into the NBA, you make it into the NFL, you make it in any professional sport, and you can make a lot of money, and nobody will really know your name. And I don't know who said this famous quote, but when they were asked, like, what's better, being rich or famous, or being just rich, something like that, and they said just being rich, right? I'd rather have money, I'd rather have wealth or consistent wealth rather than my name being known. And I think I've experienced that, Coach Jay, where I was on the leaderboard for the better part of the first part of the year, and we're starting to see some amazing traders. Yeah, we're starting to see some absolutely amazing traders like Rafa and those Chung on like $300,000, and they're performing at a high level. And then we start to see traders come in, and I always get that question like, I'm going for the leaderboard, I'm going to the leaderboard, and Like, just don't do it. Please don't do it. Just stay consistent. Get your payout. Get yours. Withdraw money, and then do it like that. That's it. Stay consistent. Do it in your own account. And then if you do want to be on the leaderboard, then go for it. There's always somebody out there that just wants to go for the leaderboard and they don't care what happens. Which is good. If you are okay and you're trading consistently and say you're one at your live account or your XFA, and you're making money and you want to go ahead and go for it, that's great. You've seen Rips do it. He's been consistent, and we see some other traders that are consistently on yesterday's best, the live leaderboard, and the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. You still in that trade?
Yeah, we're still here. The aggressive stop loss is sitting at right around 83 and a quarter. The normal stop loss, I still have it at 968. Looking for a much better pivot or a higher low and see if we could have that continuation, retest 19,000, and maybe be able to hold above 19,000.
Nice. You got a question from Flyer Jim on that. Is this a trade you would time stop, or do you just let this run?
That's a good question. Maybe we could have had a time stop on this one. This did come fast. Particular since I had this on a higher time frame analysis. This is a trade that I personally would let run. I was even talking about getting into a long, holding it overnight throughout the London session. Closing it before the news, of course. But yeah, it was a breakout trade, and a time stop is very valid in a breakout trade. Usually, I don't know. How do you handle time stops, Coach? I'm not good at time stops, but sometimes, say we entered and it just kind of consolidated before and not really broke out, I would have had an argument to close out. But instantly we broke out, almost 20 points. We sold off, and now this is becoming support. So I'm okay with holding it for a little bit because we have that opportunity for a much tighter stop loss.
Yeah, for me, the way I normally trade, I don't think I do a time stop. I think I do like a momentum based stop, right? Where if I think there's a low probability of continued volume in the direction that I'm trading, then I'll get out of a trade, right? Where if I'm long and it looks like we're going to sit in a consolidation for the next hour because there's no volume, then I'll get out of the trade and wait for volume to come back in. But a trade like this, I wouldn't time stop because I would just expect that the move takes a little bit longer. So I think what you did is, as far as trailing to a logical spot on the chart, is the way I would manage this one too.
Yeah. Well, let's see how this one plays out. Let's go ahead and move along. It is 8 p.m. Central. Let's go ahead and take a look at gold. Right around 8 p.m. Central, we do see a spike in volatility. And the trade that we have been looking at, for the past few weeks has been, after the initial move, usually about 10 minutes, right around 8:10 p.m. Central, like 10 minutes after 8 p.m., 8:10, is we look for a reversal, and it's been playing pretty well. But let's take a look. I'm going to look at the hourly chart. We did have a very nice, maybe a double bottoming pattern again. That happened. Yeah, this was today, right, where we had that nice sell-off. We bounced off of 2504. Overnight, it looks like the same thing happened. We sold off. This time we got down as far as 2503 and immediately rallied right back up to 2525. And we even broke that previous pivot, not by much, and we're kind of consolidating. And if you want to talk about a flagging pattern, that is as much of a flag as I've seen. It's beautiful flag pattern. So we'll see. It's looking pretty bullish to me. We continue to find buyers on these lower 2500s. So the way that I'm looking at this tonight is if we do break out above this flagging pattern, then these 36s, 38s can come into play really quick here.
Yeah, I'm bullish anything above 2505 in gold for now. Obviously, I don't want to be buying the highs of this range. If we kind of stay in here, we've been in a range, call it the last 2 or 3 days. But yeah, definitely seeing some upside to about 2545-ish. So it's the way I would think about a trade here is, where could we potentially reject 25.36, 25.35 is an area where the market has rejected so far. So I think I would like a little bit of a pullback before getting in long here, but I do like longs.
Yeah, no, I mean, a little bit of a pullback. That we did see 25.22. We were making higher lows, but yeah, I see what you see. I see what you mean. We do have maybe a downtrend that if we can break out of, it is 802, and we haven't really seen much volatility. That's kind of been how gold has started to play. 8 p.m. has not been as great in terms of a break in any direction. It's been kind of lackluster. That's why I haven't been talking about it as much this week. So we'll see. We'll continue to monitor it. I'm not putting too much focus that what I used to. I know when we first started talking about gold, you were on here, Coach Jay, and it just we were catching some
it was
amazing
moving all the time.
trades. Yeah, we were catching $5-10, big moves, and they were great. And now it's kind of
when do you think it slowed down?
Beginning of August, when we started to see that craziness, maybe.
That's when it slowed down. Because I'm trying to think, like, was that, and it doesn't really matter, right? We're here to day trade, but was that related to the yen carry trade?
It might, and I'm sure somebody in the chat probably knows a lot better than I am, has been following it a lot
same.
closely. Chat always knows more than I do. It's hard to be a big community. Somebody in there always knows something. Who is it? Was it Henry Ford or someone who said that, where he's like, I might not be the smartest or the most intelligent, but I do have a button that I could push to get an answer, something down that line. I'll have to look up that quote.
Know the person who knows the answer.
Yeah.
You don't know it yourself.
It's a lot easier to know somebody who knows the answer than trying to know everything yourself.
Yep.
They knew they were watching. Yeah, that maybe ever since we started to keep trading it, they just stopped.
It's like, hey, this guy's making too much money. Cut him off.
Yeah, well, we weren't even trading live account. Well, I did my first one was in a live account, and then we've been doing combines for the show. Going back to some of the trolls were saying is, how many nights have me and you sat here and traded on Wednesday where we'd have 30 lots in a live account, and we did go through and showed like, hey, here's the order that went through on the DOM, but volume is just so small, and the order books are so thin to sit here and actively trade a live account. However, slow markets concepts where we could put a pending order it is a lot more realistic, and something that I'm going to be transitioning to as we're starting to see a lot more normal, quote unquote, market conditions.
And whoever cut off the trade must have heard us, because some volume just came into gold and we had a 2-point move to the upside. Still not breaking out of this consolidation, but some volume coming into it.
Yeah. This is looking pretty dang bullish to me. Could this be a shoulder, head, and shoulders pattern, Coach Jay?
What time frame are you on?
I'm on the 1 minute. You could probably see it on a different time frame as well. Could that be a shoulder, head, shoulders pattern, and we do get this breakout, and maybe we could see a test of this high over here around 30, 25.30, 25.31? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, I'm actually tempted to get into a trade, just like we got into the NASDAQ. It's almost very similar to the NASDAQ trade in terms of just the style of a breakout, where we have a lot of resistance, and if we could break through that resistance, could we see a nice, move to the long side? We are 6 minutes after 8 p.m., and we haven't been seeing a lot of great movements in gold anyway. Yeah, inverse head and shoulders on a higher time frame. Yeah, even the 5-minute chart, you could see it. It's the flagging pattern, right? Or huge rally from 25.12 up to 25.31, and then we're having this flagging pattern. So a long gold is reasonable the way that I'm seeing it. Now anything could happen.
Where do you limit your risk here?
My stop loss would be below this pivot. There is an argument to say you want a wider stop loss. below those 22s, but I also like a tighter stop loss below 24s or
Yeah.
below 24 and a half.
Like if it's not going to go, it's not going to go. I'll find a better spot.
Yeah, exactly. So it just depends on, what your risk appetite is. Like, would your stop loss be here? It's going to be a little bit loose below 22s, or is it going to be below the pivot we just made and like right below 24, maybe 24.1? Both are valid. And as we're busy talking, it's playing out. It's one of those.
I know Coach Paul was saying he was potentially looking for a long in gold as well. He's looking at a higher time frame on a 30-minute, but he was looking for a long as well.
That was at the buzzer, right? That you've been doing
Yeah.
every day at the market close.
He uses these moving averages similar to why did I just blank on his name? Who were you on Power Hour today with?
David Green?
David Green. Wow. I don't know why. Sorry, Mr. Green, if you're watching. But yeah, he uses moving averages similar to David Green and is looking at the 200 moving average on the 30 for a potential cross and maybe a trade long. So I see the longs as well.
Yeah, it's playing out right now. I mean, that trade, while I was talking about it and not trading it, was a very similar trade to, like I said, that NASDAQ break above the 26.3. And yeah, let's see if we get that momentum. We are 8 minutes after 8. Yeah, that's a missed opportunity for sure to get into a decent entry and a decent trade. It's always hindsight whenever you feel like that. Let's see, how's the NASDAQ doing? We're still in that NASDAQ trade. Yep, nice and slow and steady. If you had a time stop, it's very valid to be just closed out, where if you wanted the breakout, you wanted it now. And we're not really getting any momentum follow through on this particular breakout trade, or just we had a chance to close it out for plus 10, plus 15 points. So that was probably one that see money, take money. And it did happen really quick, just 3 minutes. And then we were right back down to our entry. And there goes gold.
Did it break out?
Yeah, it's at 27.5.
Yep.
We do have some resistance there at 28 even, 25, 28. That's a nice resistance zone. And then next stop up to 30s. Seeing those 30s. We could realistically see 30 if we continue this. Because it's not like we're slowly breaking out and it's gaining momentum. It's not like we puncture
there's
through
volume.
and reverse.
It's a good move. The high of the news candle from this morning, jolts that came out, was that 25-26 area. So that's starting to hold as a support.
Okay.
This looks good.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. And you're seeing volume coming in on this too as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Looks good. It's nice when you call it, right? It's better when you trade it.
Yeah, it's calling trades and trading it are two different things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're finding that out and fine-tuning the house account, right?
For sure. We'll get that process
Yeah,
cleared away.
I'm excited for it. Tomorrow's Topstep's birthday, and yeah, I'm super stoked. I'm super excited for the new year. I mean, it's the second year that Topstep is on there.
Yep. Yeah. It's crazy to see how far the show has come in a year, and just to think about where we're going to be next year with that is pretty awesome.
What are we gonna do? What are they doing tomorrow? I'm nervous, excited. I mean, I've heard rumors. I mean, I can't give anything away because I don't have anything. Whatever
Nothing
it
to give
is,
away, right? Yeah.
it's like
I would be surprised as well.
So I'm gonna be surprised. You're gonna be surprised. I do not know, but Topstep does not underdeliver when it comes to special occasions like that.
No, it does not.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I don't. And I was looking through everything and said, I can't see anything. No one said anything about it. There's not even any hints. other than it's a big birthday party. And a lot of people are packed in. Everyone's wearing their birthday suit. I hope not.
Hope not.
So here's something, right? We were talking about 10 minutes after for a reversal trade. Well, that was 10 minutes after. So that was the initial move. And 10 minutes after was the top of that move so far. So 10 minutes after at 8:10 p.m. was right there. And the reversal, we could have got in on a short around 25.27, maybe 25.26.9. So yeah, Coach Jay, this is what we've been seeing. We've been seeing this play out where we have the initial move, and that reversal has been paying a lot better than the breakout. Whereas before, this breakout, we probably could have caught, that move to 30. So there has been a change in the way that the gold market has been reacting at 8 p.m. Central.
It's always good to identify patterns. I feel like that's what most of trading is. It's pattern recognition and saying, hey, we're going to trade this pattern until it breaks.
Yeah. And then when it breaks, you find something else, right? And it's just adjusting with the market. And it could be very hard. The hardest part is knowing when to adjust and also knowing how to adjust.
For sure. NASDAQ looks like it's...
Have we sold off?
Kind of. So that...
Are we right back in the range? Okay, so yep, there's the aggressive stop loss. So the aggressive stop loss was minus 11 ticks. We did have an opportunity to close it out at plus 77 ticks. So there was a point we were in profit for 77 ticks. Stop loss got stopped out at minus 11 ticks. So, this would have been a valid one-to-one trade if you were only looking for a one-to-one trade. I, was looking for us to at least maybe test, 19,000 teens, maybe come there. And so, yeah, see profit, take profit. This perfect example. Failure to close out when you were in profit, even though it was really quick. But that was a successful trade if we were able to take profits there.
Yeah. I think, just reading that from a momentum perspective, so we saw a really nice volume at 19,000, but if you can pull up my chart real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm looking at gold for a moment.
Yep. So we had this candle here that tested above 19,000, which was the highest volume that we've seen relative to anything else that we had been trading. You can kind of see it here at the lows as well, right? Where we have this heavy volume candle at the lows, and then the very next candle is about half the volume and in a different direction. There's no follow through on this, the same way there's no follow through on this at the high. So, using this candle, I think if anyone was looking short, we had a rejection at a major level, 19K, no follow through. You guys know how much I like 50% retracements. A short somewhere around 50% of this and risking the high of that candle, I think is a pretty good trade as well. But, you were in long from where we're trading right now, I believe. So it's like you said, from a trade management perspective, it was the aggressive trail would have been the right idea.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking at this as a possibility to add into the original 5 micro position size.
Nice.
Let's see, because we are right back down here to the bottom of this consolidation. And so if we do consolidate more, maybe if we do break back above, 19,080, then adding to this could be possible. If not, I'm perfectly fine with this. It's the beauty of micros, right? Definitely the beauty of micros. Man, I don't know, and I probably could never be able to count how many times I've seen traders just save accounts and traders that would have been a blown account if it wasn't for micros.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a trader at the buzzer today that said that they can't trade micros because it's just too slow. What do you think about that, Dakota?
Yeah, that's just I don't want to like.
Yeah, it's an honest thing though, and I've heard a few traders say that.
I get it and I understand it because we're just humans, right? We want that instant gratification. When you make a great trade, you want to be paid for it, right? Like, man, I just made 50 points on the NASDAQ. You want that to be $1,000. You want that to be, a nice fat paycheck that you guys see on Topstep TV. But that is not the reality.
Yeah.
You have to go through that phase of not thinking about the dollar amounts. And
For sure.
if you can trade micros, like for example, if you could trade one micro really good and consistently, then you could trade 2 micros. You could trade 2, you could trade 3. And then it's just a matter of scaling. It's process over profits. It's boring as heck. It is. That's the reality. Yeah. And you've heard me say this almost every freaking day, and if not, a few times a week. Trading is boring. It's not about the dollar amounts per trade. It's about the consistency. It's about being able to analyze your statistics and you scale up with confidence. And then once you have that confidence in your process, in the way that you trade, you can have that confidence to scale up without worrying about blowing your account.
Because the process should be the same, right? The trade setup should be the same, and that's what you're able to focus on. And Andrew just said it in the chat. You're able to focus on that process when you're trading micros. When you're trading minis, especially in an account with a tight drawdown, you're not thinking about the trade. You're thinking about the amount of money you can make or can't afford to lose, which is not the right place to be.
Correct. And I see someone in there in chat saying it in such a beautiful way. It says, Coach Dakota, I'm happy with $400 a week on top of what I'm making on my current job. That is the perspective that you really need. It is, you don't have to be a full-time trader. I know a lot of traders come in here and they see all the, like you said, all these huge payouts. Are they full-time? Maybe, maybe not. The majority of traders, especially the ones maybe in slow markets that have a day job. I started trading with a part-time job and going to college. It's not to immediately replace your income. It's to possibly supplement it, add to it. Are you going to use that to pay off debt, go on a vacation? $400 a week on top of your normal job can change a life. $200 a week on top of a normal job.
That's your grocery bill. That's...
And also, depending on where you live, $400 a week is an amazing salary in some parts of the world. And it's all about perspective. So don't think about it of just it being too slow. That's actually probably a good thing if you're looking at this as too slow, because the market's not moving very much. And, one trade, I'm going to lose, if this hits the stop loss, like $120. And that's not a lot. Next trade, I might make $50, $500. It's about the results over a long period of time. Gold's still popping. Let's take a look at gold. Let's see if this one's going to hit the stop loss, and then we'll go over to gold. And there's that gold. Here we go. Gold's starting to push now. Yep, we did have that breakout, a pullback that looked like it might have been that reversal right at 10 p.m. But then that was shortly lived. And here we go. We are breaking out. Could we have found a reason to get in long on this pullback? Maybe is what I'm going to say. That would be hard for me to get in long on that pullback after watching the way that gold's been reacting. Unless it was a longer term trade like you guys were talking about during At the Buzzer.
Yep.
61 lots at 25.29. I'm seeing in gold. Well, we'll watch it. We can continue to watch that, but it's pushing. You've seen that volume come in. Too late for gold, somebody asks. Depends on your setup, right? What we were looking at, or at least what I was looking at here on gold, was a breakout trade, which is all the way down here with a nice tight stop loss. Could we continue rallying? Yes. Is it too late for the way that I trade? Yeah. Is it too late for the way that you trade? Maybe not. Maybe you're looking for a higher time frame and you're looking for a break above and continuation. It could be valid. Maybe you're looking for just a quick scalp and maybe your target's 30. You just want to get, 5-10 ticks. It's valid. So it just depends. Yeah, that was a pullback. Yep. Man,
The high of that news candle is still holding 25-26 area.
Yeah, let's pull it up to your charts.
Yep. So it's just the high of this right here. This was the reaction to the JOLTS news that came out at 9 Central, and it's holding right now. Right. That sell-off or reversal looked pretty scary for a minute, but there was really no traction for sellers there. We shall see.
I added to this position in the NASDAQ.
Okay.
I'm now in the normal contract size that I was wanting to get in, which is 5 micros. And let's see if we can make a run at it again. Let's see if this is holding, and it's starting to work out pretty well. Aggressive stop loss has already stopped out for minus 11 ticks. Normal stop loss working so far, so good. Let's go ahead and I'm going to put this in and mark... was this second entry plus 2 contracts? So let's see how this is going to work out. But other than that, while we're waiting for this trade to play out, talk of the town, talk of what a lot of people's been talking about. Blah blah blah. Is crude oil. Crude oil. What are your thoughts on crude oil, Coach Jay?
So crude, and we were talking about this in At the Buzzer, crude closed below 70 for the first time this year today. It's been holding that $70 price all year, and today was the first day we got to close below 70. So Coach Paul and I were kind of looking at that as a shift in what the market has been doing all year. Now, there's been news about the supply of crude and increasing the supply, although demand is decreasing. From a technical perspective, it looks like it's at a high time frame demand area, and this is where crude has bounced prior. I think crude likes to chop around between this 70 and 80 level, right? We have seen some extensions above 80 this year, but I'm looking at this as a demand area that the market has bounced off prior. And potentially looking to take that trade again.
Yeah, I haven't really paid too much attention to like the market internals of what's affecting crude. There's always geopolitical risk that started to rise. Like you said, bouncing between 80 and 70. The most close target that I've been watching the past couple weeks is the $68 to $67 a barrel. And that's kind of what you said. It is right there where we were last year during the summer, where we've been seeing a lot of buyers step in.
For sure. Yeah, I'm looking at May 4th, 2023. This candle right here kind of sticks out. And the high of it is 69, 69.62, we'll call it. And the low is 63.75. Looking at that as that demand area. And we're testing it right now, but on a higher time frame, this looks like where the market has showed us it's bounced going back to 2022, 2021 even.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. To me, I'm just going to wait for a pullback. I'm not going to touch the market until it gets to somewhere where I can read it a little bit better. I don't want to sell it, even though I think it's going to keep going down. It's just, too close to that level. So I personally am going to wait for either a pullback and maybe look for an opportunity to sell it or wait for it to sell down there, consolidate, and look for a trade to the long side.
I put on a practice account short because this is a trade that I would take during the market open. But I kind of just wanted to see how it plays out during slow markets time. We talked about this high volume candle here in the NASDAQ and 50% of it. So I just put a sell order in at 50%, just got triggered in, and my stop is going to be above the high. In fast markets time, if I see sell volume coming in here, I would definitely hold this trade. I kind of want to see how it plays out.
All right, so you're in a short on the NASDAQ.
Correct.
And then I'm sitting here in the long. I'm long 5
Both.
micros from 983 and 3/4, and then you're short 1 mini from 94 and 3/4.
Yep. And this
Okay,
is just a practice account. Again, I'm just trying something out.
interesting. Nice. Well, let's see. Let's watch. Our focus has been on NASDAQ. You're focused on NASDAQ. We're watching NASDAQ together. And while we do that, let's go ahead and have some Q&A and talk about NASDAQ. We'll watch it. My stop loss is at 68. And what are you looking for on NASDAQ as a target?
Downside target, the first one would be 72. And then if we continue to sell from there, 50.
Okay, let's watch it. Let's watch this play out. Maybe we just chop around before the end of the class. We still have 30 minutes left. A couple questions. What is a time stop, Coach Jay? I know there's a lot of traders in here that might or may not have ever used a time stop.
Time stop is exactly kind of what it sounds like, right? You give an allotted amount of time for yourself to say, hey, if this trade doesn't do what I expected to in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to get out. That can be based. You'll hear a lot of traders trade the initial balance, right? So I think the trade we actually took this morning, there was a house account long trade where Deeyana said, hey, in the next 6 minutes, if this trade is still in the initial balance, cut it, which was a great idea because the market kept going down from where she said that.
Interesting. Yeah, nope, that's exactly what it is. A timed stop. It's you closing the market after a period of time based on your own discretion. Topstep has one. If you don't close your trades out by the end of the market close, they will close everything and flatten it for you. What gives us the confidence to hold a trade? Well, the way that I'm viewing the market is we broke out. I'm bullish. This is support, and I'm looking for us to continue. And we did have this breakout trade, but it hasn't hit my stop loss. And then Coach Jay went ahead and explained why he is short. Both are valid in our own trading. You know, am I upset with Coach Jay being short? Nope. Is Coach Jay, are you upset with me being long?
No, we can either both make or lose money on this trade.
Are we talking crap? No, no, it's not a
Not at all.
competition between me and you. It's just we're both following our strategies, and we're that's the reality of trading. And sometimes I laugh at chat where they just try and fade others, or it's like, oh well, they're looking at different opinions. They're one trader's bad, one trader's good. It's not the reality. Over a small sample size of one trade is not good enough for an opinion of the way
You know what's really
trades.
funny about that, Dakota? I could move this stop right now to make $100 on this, and the market could shoot up 200 points, and someone would say to me, "Hey Jay, you got it wrong," and I just got stopped out by doing that. I actually didn't want to do that. I was just doing it for the example, but I could have just made $100 on that. The market shoots up 200 points. You make money on your trade, and someone's looking at me like, "Oh, see, your idea was wrong." I don't care if I was wrong about where the market is going. I was able to make money from a repeated pattern that I've seen. And that's the idea, right? Coach Paul says it all the time. You don't have to be right. And I think a lot of times when a trader says, oh, I'm fading you, they are fading your idea about where the market is going. I never try to predict where the market is going. I try to have measured setups that I have a playbook for. There's 8 of them. If I can put on one of those 8 plays, I'm going to take the trade no matter what happens. I don't care if the market's going up or down. If my playbook trade fits in the price action that I'm seeing, I'm going to take the trade.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, no one could ever know which way the market's going. You can have a setup and you take the trade, and then whatever happens, happens. And of course, it's nice to have a winning trade and make money. But sometimes to me, whenever I take a loss, and then I take another loss, I'm kind of excited to take the very next trade because, every loss I take, it just brings me one step closer to when the markets, the probabilities are in my edge. I was talking about Nick Vertick last night about, a coin flip. You flip the coin, it's heads. You flip the coin, it heads. Does it mean that you think the coin's rigged? Do you think it's not 50-50? It's like, no, you know that the probability when you flip the coin is still going to be 50-50. So to me, it's more about statistics, probabilities. And then we'll go over at the end, the last maybe 15 minutes of class about some trader statistics. So as we're going through, we're going to answer some more questions. If you would like Coach Jay and I to review your statistics, go ahead and share them there at that link I just pointed in, or tagged in, whatever, pinned in the YouTube chat. We'll review it right at the end of class. We're not going to take too much of time because, trading statistics and reviewing them can be very repetitive. We've done a lot. I've tried to do 1 or 2 traders every night, but I think that's a good point. We have traders long and short all the time. Depending on your time frame, depending on your setup, we could both make money. You made money on that short, right?
Yeah, I actually didn't want to get out of that, so I put another order in to sell it again if it gets back to where my entry was.
Okay.
But yeah, $92.
90. Oh, there. Fair enough.
In what was that? 3 minutes? I'll take it.
Why not? It's slow markets. A few more questions while we're here and watching this slow markets trades play out. So feel free. I mean, we're answering questions. Go ahead and do this. Do you trade a live account? Coach Jay, do you have a personal live account? Do you trade it?
Yes, I do.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yep, I have a personal live account with AMP Futures. I do trade that account mainly, but I trade Topstep accounts as well. And I'm very conservative in that live account. I will talk about trading micros. I can trade more minis in that account than I can in a Topstep account, but I will trade micros in that account as well because I'm not in a rush, right? I want to take trade opportunities that present themselves. Don't need to make $10,000 in a day on that account. It's a very conservative, just build over time, and very comfortable with that.
Yeah, love that answer. I have multiple accounts. I have a personal account in options where I'll hold options in stock. And I love trading options. That's my bread and butter. It really is. It's one where I don't have to think about. I don't have to watch every single day. I don't care what happens in the market. I've been talking about over the past couple of weeks. I've been selling a lot of Nvidia puts, and it's been selling off, and I've been getting what do they call it? Being a proud owner of Nvidia as it keeps dropping down.
Nice.
A lot faster than I expected, but still. And then once I get into it, I'll start selling calls, and that's on one account. The other account, I do day trade. I trade futures, and I will have some options play, shorter term options plays. And then I have this Topstep account that I started. I'm coaching, and it's been, I don't want to say fun because I don't think that's the right word. It's been really good to where I don't have to focus so much on my personal accounts. It's been a great distraction. And here we are on the NASDAQ. We're breaking up above 19,000 again. And I think this is now a valid time for me to move my stop loss. I'm going to move my stop loss below this previous pivot, 1983. So I'm going to move at 1981. And it's going to be right at break even. So there is my break even right where I got in. So let's go. Stop loss is now at break even, and let's see where this thing can take us. If we could get up near the highs, maybe around 19,018, 019, I'll peel a couple contracts off. That's the beauty about micros, is that you can scale in and scale out without a lot. And look, $200 on trading micros so far. And if we're talking about a daily target, one trade, not even in a full mini, just 5 micros. And that's what we're talking about. This could be an amazing supplemental income for a week, right? That's a week's worth of profit. Or that could be an insurance payment, depending on what your bills are. That's not too bad for a small trade.
Right.
Let's see if we could break out. We did break that 05. The session high for tonight is 06. What, 06 and a quarter? 06 and a quarter is the session high.
06 even, it looks like.
Okay, 06 even is the session high. Right where we made it. Right where we were. 06 and a quarter for micros, but 06 even for the big ones, the big boys. Coach Dakota, do you ever find the trade during power hour? What's your process? Watch today during power hour, Thomas. Rewatch today's power hour. We had a trade. We had a house account. I had another trade as well. And I did the same thing. I was only in like 3, 4, 5 micros, and I ended up making a couple $100 there. However, I do have my 5x FAs that I've been trading on this. I have my live account. It's just another login, but been focusing on these 5x FAs. I've been doing really well. This week I'm up about 59,000, and it's doing just this. I'm not,
Big week.
and the funny thing about that, Coach Jay, is nothing more than 3 contracts. Nothing more than 3 contracts. I think
We've had this conversation early this year. I don't know if you remember that.
We've had it a few times, Coach Jay.
A few times. It's like, you don't really need to trade with more than 3 contracts. Anything else is over leverage, especially for these account sizes. 59K in 3. You said that was just this week?
Yeah, on my XFAs.
Right.
Yep.
3 contracts.
Yeah, 3 contracts. That's all it's been. There's no need to. Look, we're in a half of a contract, a half of a micro, and we're up $200. And of course it's copy trading, so there is like an asterisk when it says. So this is technically $1,000. Either way, right? So this would have been $1,000 if you're copy trading, but in one account, micros, it scales. It's big. There's no sense of just trading 15 contracts.
So
and make
let me ask you, with the 3 contracts, is it always 3 contracts for every trade, or do you have some trades where you say, hey, you know what, I want to put 1 on here?
It's been a mix. It's been a mixed.
Okay.
Yeah, today during Power Hour, I only did micros. I traded 5 micros during Power Hour today, and
nice.
it was a very similar trade setup. And we took it in the house account.
Yep.
I was a little more aggressive because it was my personal or in my Topstep XFA account. So I was a little bit more aggressive and got an early market rally during Power Hour and made a few $100 times 5 on that one.
Nice.
And now we're testing. We're having a hard time. I mean, it is slow markets, and I'm not going to argue with 20 points. That was a 20-point move right there.
Yep.
Yeah, this is slowish markets. Usually it's a long grind higher. This is kind of volatile for this type of a night. Nice and quiet.
Yep. See if we got any questions.
Yeah, I think we're doing a good job getting through the questions.
Okay.
What is the main initial balance? I'm not really sure what you mean by that, Coco. Why are your stops so big on the NASDAQ? Because we're micros. I mean, it depends on the time frame you're looking at. So I originally had a stop loss here at 68. My entry was at 83. So trading small, I like to have wider stops when I'm trading micros and during slow markets. And it's all about perspective. Are your stops big in the point perspective, or are you talking, are your stop losses big in a dollar amount perspective? I like to keep my risk on slow markets around $300 to $400, and that $300 or $400 could mean a 50-point stop loss. It could mean a 20-point stop loss. Sometimes it even means a 100-point stop loss. It's 1 micro, 3 micros, whatever. So it's all about it's all relative. Dakota, why am I not locking in profits or moving my stop loss? I did. My stop loss was down here at 68, and I moved my stop loss to 81. My take profit, I'm going to start pilling contracts if we get up here closer to 19,016 to 19,018. And there's no reason for me to take profits yet. I'm trailing this. We're going to watch this. Let's see if we could get a continuation. We just made new session highs again. We broke through those 06s, and it's slow. Remember, this is not like the New York session. We don't see big swings typically. This is a little more volatile than normal, and I am going to be considering closing out some coming to the end of class. This is for my slow markets combine, and this is a slow markets class where we, chart everything out on chart. We are journaling this. I'll take a screenshot at the end of this trade, and then we'll put that in the journal entry here in the statistics. 19,006 is a strong level. Yeah, it sure is.
Sure is.
Sure acting like it. Yep. How
It looks
can
like it's
I
going to break
send
here in a
you
second.
statistics? 1 second. So over here in Topstep X on the left-hand side, you can click Performance Stats. You click on Share. You could copy that link, and then you could send it into my channel in the Topstep Discord. And me and Coach Jay will review a couple of them in just a moment while we watch this trade play out. This is a much slower and long drawn out trade. Now remember, the aggressive stop loss has already been stopped out for minus 11 ticks. This is the more wider, more loose, giving the market more room to move, which is playing out much better. How many days do you usually take to pass a combine? I don't know. It really depends.
Yeah.
What's your thought? You've been running the VIP. How has that been, Coach Jay? Have you seen like traders passing combines in like X amount of days, faster, slower?
We've been trying to slow people down. The traders that have taken, it's a 100K combine. The traders that have taken 2 weeks to pass it are the ones that I have confidence in that are going to continue and be able to take that into an XFA, into a funded account, their own personal accounts. The ones that rush and try to get it done quickly, I think a lot of times what happens is you're conditioning yourself to expect a certain amount of money from a market move, right? So let's say I can trade 10 contracts and I'm only looking for a 10-point move in the NASDAQ to make two grand. Mm-hmm. You're conditioning your brain to see 2 grand from a 10-point move every time you do that. And then when you go to the XFA and you're starting off trading 1 or 2 contracts, you're still looking for that $2,000 number, but you're not going to get it out of the same market movement that you got by over leveraging. So I think it's really important to condition yourself to have to start off slow. It's the way you have to trade in XFA when you open it up. And we have some traders we have mixed results right now. Traders with a ton of experience, traders with not so much experience. And everyone is a little bit different in their journey. So it's mixed results. I like the traders. The one thing I do love is that most of the traders in that program that have been joining the sessions that we have, almost all of them are trading micros.
Wow, that's great.
Almost every single person.
That would be an interesting stat. I wonder if we could have a conversation with Mick or Ben or the risk team or maybe even MP. I would be really curious to know what the statistics are for traders who are more on the successful side and make it to a live account, how long it's taking them to pass their combine.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's, longer than normal, because traders that, and it makes sense, right? You have a combine and you take a month to pass to get to your XFA, compared to a trader that takes like 3 or 4 days to pass and they get to the XFA. And if they both get to the XFA, the trader who took that month to pass the combine is more likely going to stay in their XFA longer and have a higher chance at a success and making it to a live account and receiving those payouts versus the trader who passed the combine in a shorter period of time.
We got a really important comment from Ivan Ramirez, and he typed it all caps, so I want to make sure I read that. It says, hit that like button.
Gosh, Jay. I was over here looking, trying to be all serious.
And I think that was for everyone that's watching, that's in the chat. Do what Ivan said. Go ahead, hit that like button if you like what you heard so far. Sorry, Dakota, I had to do it.
Yeah, that's good. You got me there. I was looking for the question, like, okay, it's like thinking about risk management. Why am I not closing this trade? Some type of question. I'll hit the like button. How do you join the VIP? How do you join it, Coach Jay? My understanding is it's a giveaway. It's not something that just comes for no reason, and it's rare because it's so valuable.
I would say stay tuned to TopstepTV and to MP's Twitter. Those are legitimately though, because that's how the entire VIP program was announced to begin with. But stay tuned to those two. There are going to be opportunities for people to join those coming up sometime soon, I would expect. But it's going to be announced on Topstep TV, and it's not just going to be one announcement, and that's your only chance. The team is probably going to give a few opportunities. The last time we did it, there was a quiz that everyone had to fill out, and then a random drawing for that quiz. So it'll be announced prior to, but you're going to hear it on MP's Twitter or Topstep TV.
Yeah, funny. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, if you follow Topstep, continue watching and it sounds like social media, and the more you stay up to date of what's going on, the higher your chances are with getting something like that.
Yep.
And especially during big events, right? I have no idea. Tomorrow's Topstep's birthday. I'm excited for it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun.
For sure.
TMB. I had no idea about VIP. Oh, you know what? If you did not have any idea about what the VIP experience is, maybe what you could do is join our Discord. I mean,
yeah.
Why go through any other hassle of wondering? Topstep has an amazing Discord. That's where VIP is, right, Jay? That's where you're at. That's where I'm at. I have my channel. That's where a huge amount of community members are being active, talking. And so, if you want to stay up to date, maybe that is probably what you should do.
Best place to go.
Yeah, can we get the Topstep Discord? I mean, I had a link to my channel right there. If we get the link to Topstep Discord, I'm gonna pull up a few trader statistics while we can review while this trade plays out. It's slow, just like slow markets. Let's take a look at some stats. Going into my channel, I do see a few of them tonight.
And while you pull it up, I see a couple of questions about VIP. One from Homes, Boats, and Travel by Jose. Is there more coaching? Yeah, so what I've been doing myself, and it's, this is the first group that we're doing it with. So all of us, even as coaches, are learning exactly how we want to, give a VIP experience. But what I've been doing is bi-weekly, is that how you say that? No, twice a week group calls with any trader that wants to join. And we're going over their stats. We're going over how they specifically trade as a trader. I have traders in there that hold trades for 4 hours. I have traders in there who are scalpers, right? Everyone's going to see the market differently. So what I want to do as a coach is say, hey, how does the market make sense to you and get you to make trading decisions? Mm-hmm. And what are you looking at? And then looking at your data and say, what are you actually doing? And how can we match the two, right? What are you trying to do? What are you actually doing? And if there's a gap, how do we close that gap? And that's what I'm coaching most people for.
Great. I love that. I love it. Here's the first statistics. Hopefully you can see that, Coach Jay. And just a little bit of context. Yep. Trader says, please review this. I am having difficulty growing from here. So this is an express funded account. So there's a lot more pressure than just a regular combine. And let's see how far. Started in July, sometime mid-July. Let's get this back on to where we can see all the statistics. And let's take a look. Give me just a second while I fix this up. $860. Let me double check. I'm making sure that I put this in there. Do you see it okay, Coach Jay?
Yep, I can see it.
There we go. There it is. Here's the express funded account. Started in July. Let me get all the stats for it. Yeah, I had it right. So immediately, it's an express funded account. Like I said, there's a lot more pressure. So this, these statistics mean a lot more. I do like there's more data. You guys hear me say this all the time. When you're reviewing your statistics, it's important to know that, the more data you have, the more you can collect, the more reliable your statistics are to understand. If you have 2 or 3 days, you're not going to really get any good information from it compared to like this. You have, almost 2 months worth of data, then this is going to be, hopefully accurate, trying to take out as much emotion if you this is not taken into consideration emotions, right? Maybe you have some emotional trades through in there that could skew your statistics a little bit. But immediately, I like this, right? It looks like this trader started their XFA, was kind of around break even, and then started to lose money going near the end of July, beginning of, August, which is understandable. That was pretty crazy and volatile. And then you was down about $1,400, and you've been slowly grinding it out. And then it looks like you started to really catch a stride, and you're up $1,400. First, original thoughts on this, because I have some really positive comments on this one.
I think I got mostly positives too. These look like very well managed losing days. Your average losses are half of your average winners. Um, this just looks like, and you say you're having trouble growing. My question would be, what is your definition of growth for this account? Because this is slowly growing, and it looks really good.
Yeah, this is. It sounds like I just got stopped out too. Yep, just got stopped out. So we'll go back to this. I'm going to go ahead and let's really quickly journal this, and then I'll get back to that. So I'm going to hurry and take a screenshot. Journal this. Basically break even on that one. Let's go ahead and do that. We didn't break out that those 06s were just quite
Brick wall.
it was a brick wall. So let's go ahead and add that as a journal. Let's go to downloads. There we go. And save. Boom. Okay, now back to these stats. So immediately just eyeballing this is that you're not blowing your account in one day. And
Right.
you're getting the most out of this XFA no matter what, win or lose. So what I'm seeing is you're not risking a lot. You're not looking to make a lot. You went through that whole struggling period at the beginning. You've lost money. You've made some money, lose some money, and I like to see that. This is over a period of days. Look, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row of making money, and now it looks like you are on a 2-day losing streak. But a 2-day losing streak's not bad.
Not at all.
When you're not blowing your account, right? Because you've done that before. You've lost money, and then you should have that confidence in yourself and the way that you've been trading to do that again. Take a step back, reset, realize that you've done it before, and yeah, I love this. I love seeing a trader.
This is crazy.
Yeah. This
So-
is. Go ahead.
A lot of traders ask the question, like, how do you become consistently profitable? The better question is, how do you are you consistent in your process? This person is very consistent in their process. For over 2 months now, I don't see any days over 10 trades, maybe one. There's one day over 10 trades. Outside of that, they're taking 1 to 3 trades every day. And whether it's a winner or a loser, they're calling it quits. That's how you become consistently profitable, by having a consistent process first. And that is amazing.
Look at this. Look at this. Losing day, you're stopping $250. That is so hard for a trader to do. Your losing days minus 250. Wow, that's beautiful. And then your winning days are 250, and some of them are even a lot more. So I absolutely love seeing that. This is the definition of consistent. Give me a trader like this any day of the year. I would be like, let's put a copy trader on this guy behind the scenes and throw in 10 minis, because I know what the worst case scenario is and best case, and I love this consistency. And even scrolling down, the majority of losing trades he cuts them short. They're cutting them short under 2 minutes, and those winners, you're letting them run. And so that's a beautiful thing right there, where the lower half is the losers and the longer half are the winners. And journaling, look at that. Journaling, the last 2 days, minus $300, and journaling 2 trades, minus 200, minus 100, and you called it quits. Micros too. So micros on that as well. On both of these, like,
The one thing I will say about this is, I wonder. So it looks like you're using about, when you trade with the NASDAQ, you're using about a 10-point stop, which can be pretty tight in the NASDAQ. And again, the losses average around 10 points. I wonder how this trader would do trading micros, solely micros, because a lot of these trades are NASDAQ mini trades.
Micros. I'm not seeing the minis.
Oh, okay. Never mind. They made an adjustment in August. Okay, so you were trading minis early on in July.
Okay, I see
and
that.
Then
Yep.
in August they made the change to micros. Never mind. You're doing great.
Yeah, I see that. The minis at the start, and that's where you're kind of just like break even holding above zero, below zero, and then it looks like you had some losing days. And then at the beginning of August, is that where you had that nasty 5-day losing streak? Yep, 5-day losing streak. Yeah, struggling. And then you switched to micros, and that's where the positive trades began. Wow. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. You struggled. You had that 5-day losing streak in minis, switched to micros, and wow, that's when
A lot more consistency.
Yeah, and you basically see it, right? The switch to micros started right there at the bottom of the equity. That if that doesn't show you the power of micros and the fact that
this was going to be a blown account.
Yeah, this was definitely going to be a blown account if you didn't switch. The odds are, let's just say the odds are it was going to be a blown account. But the profits, look, are the same, if not better, right? Look at the way that you're trading with micros was, minus $200-$300, plus $200-$300, or minis, and it's the same with micros. So that should show you the power of micros. And then you don't even need to trade a lot with micros too. Look, one, like you said, Coach Jay, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3 trades. I kind of want to just send this to the risk management team or the team to show on Topstep TV, because this is a golden example of what I love to see as a trader. And so have that confidence. I do know that you are on a 2-day losing streak. Just understand, take a step back. You've been there before. You had a 3-day losing streak in the middle of August. Losing streaks happen. You can't have every single day a winning day. That's just not realistic. Follow your process. I would love to see more journal entries in August. I see those 2 on the 15th and 16th, and then you've started to these losing days. So maybe more journal entries. There's nothing wrong with one trade and being done. That's good. One trade done. One trade done. It looks like on these 2 days you had 2 trades, which is nothing wrong with that. But I like that you're calling it quits on this. And a man or girl is a trader after my own heart. You know exactly what I mean on this. Direction, long. on all these NASDAQ.
Is that every trade?
No, not every trade. There's some shorts in there, but I'm just saying the majority of these are longs. That's why I was saying that person after my own heart, buying the NASDAQ. But
so 47 trades I think I see here total, and 10 of them are shorts, 37 longs.
Yeah, and it has a positive equity curve. Yeah. Does it pay to be bullish?
I will say the biggest winners are shorts.
Oh, yeah. What? Okay, come on.
Biggest winners are shorts.
Fair enough. And so the question is, what would you journal, right? Anything, right? Maybe just put in notes. Just say on this journal, you could take a screenshot of the trade. You've seen how on where I had this journal tonight, maybe you could mark it out if you wanted to, and you could just review it and say, this was a great trade. Pat yourself on the back and be happy with it, even if it's a losing day. And you can do that. Your journal entry doesn't have to be criticism. Your journal entry could be the opposite. And a lot of times us as just humans in general, I found myself, is we're our worst enemy. We're our worst critic, where a lot of traders in their journals just beat themselves up more than they should, right? We're not our own best friend. What would your best friend tell you if you're having a bad day, right? Just cheer up. It's not the end of the world. Tomorrow's a new day. Move on. We have that beautiful ability to start over, start fresh, start new. And so traders typically tend to beat themselves up, even on bad days like this. For example, Tuesday, August 20th, one trade minus $145. If this followed your strategy, there's nothing wrong with just putting a journal entry hey, this was a great trade. It matched my setup. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Going to the gym later. So just something like that. Maybe you could put what you did after. Maybe you should have journaled on this day when you things to say, man, had a really bad day. I'm losing. I decided to switch to micros. And so that way, in a few months from now, you could go back and just maybe you're going through a hard time. You could go through and review what was I journaling? How was I feeling? Anything in the world that you feel like journaling, you can do that. It's always great to do that.
I'm just looking through a lot of the reports that you have in there, and a lot of these, I know we were focusing on one account, but a lot of these have a similar sentiment. There's a trader that says, my account is in a 1 month ascending triangle. Am I on the road to breaking out soon? Apply everything we just said to that trade report. I just did a quick review of yours to yours as well. You're trading consistently, you're taking your time, and just continue with the process.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, a lot of this, I know as we get to the end of class and as we start reviewing statistics, a lot of traders leave. Right. Our view, the viewer, the number of traders are here watching this start to dive off, but this is crucial stuff. It really is. It's the boring stuff that means sometimes the most. And what we're saying here can be applied across a lot of traders that we see. Because I sit here and I do click on a lot of those statistics, Coach Jay, and they're very similar. And a lot of what, like you said, what we say can be applied across all of them. And take a look at what some traders are doing and try and duplicate that. Like, wow, this trader made the switch to micros.
Save their account.
Let's try and duplicate that. Or, oh, wow, this trader's doing really good at journaling or this or that, 1 or 2 trades a day. Maybe I should start doing that myself. And stop looking at it as this is what I'm doing wrong. And maybe take a look and say, this is what I could be doing better rather than the negative side. Yep. So anyway, what a session. Thank you, Coach Jay, again. I know we're a few minutes behind, but that's okay. Did you happen to catch Linda on Tuesday?
Amazing.
What was your thoughts on her?
I watched it twice. I watched it live while she was doing it, and then I rewatched it again last night, just taking notes. I think she's amazing. You know, anytime you can get anyone like that with that much experience, I think it's beneficial to listen to. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. What do you think?
Same. I think the quality that Topstep provides and the guest for free.
Yeah.
Like that's something you would go and you pay to go to a conference for. Like no joke. Like a 1 hour session with somebody like that. I would pay money for that. I'd say I'd love to go sit down and listen to her talk what she just talked about for an hour.
Did you hear when she said she could teach her entire trading strategy in 3 hours?
I believe it. The simplest strategies and some of the most successful traders that I've came across are ones that trade in the most simplistic way. That's one of the reasons why I love trading, naked charts, keeping it as simple as possible. And you guys know, I almost never have an indicator on my chart unless I'm just talking about it and maybe doing some type of comparison to the way that I like to trade. So yeah, it's something beyond that I've ever seen before. I went through college. I paid for college. Everybody here probably knows how expensive college is. And it's thousands and thousands of dollars to listen to somebody talk for an hour for a period of time. And it's just interesting to see that Topstep's doing that for free, and to provide that value. Somebody with that much experience that could very well charge a master's level
fee could
price
be crazy
for that 1 hour. And maybe that comes to prove it. Why pay for a course when you could get this kind of stuff online for free? And not just on TopstepTV, but there's so much information. There's too much information sometimes online.
Yeah, definitely. Can you bring up my screen just real quick one more time, Dakota? Did talk about this trade setup in the NASDAQ.
And great trade, by the way. Great trade.
from a management perspective, right? The entire trade was based around this high volume candle that happened at what time was that? 7:48 Central Time. And when the market traded up to it, I told you guys I was looking to get back in around 50%, so I did take another short. When we hesitated at the highs of this candle, you can see there's another entry here, short at 1904. The stop on all of this was above 10, right? So the idea was if buyers come in and push above this again, then I would just get out because I'm wrong. But as the market hesitated around the high of this high volume, added in another short. And the reason I would add there is because I'm not adding that much risk, right? I'm adding 6 more points on a one lot, which is just over $100 to what I was already risking, 300. I was okay with that for the potential for the market to sell back off. I took one off around that 50% area again, and then holding one. And I would just trail this. So
Okay. Yeah, beautiful
just
trade.
wanted to,
And we
thanks.
might be if we break below these
You too.
970s, it could start to gain some momentum. Beautiful trade. There, that's good. I broke even on that one. Well, actually minus $29. But love it. Love it,
Nice.
see it. Okay, everybody. Topstep's birthday tomorrow. If
Yes,
you
it
are
is.
going to watch anything this year, tomorrow would be that episode to watch. So tune in, and then if not, I will see you on Friday morning, Coach Jay. I'll see everybody else Thursday night. Until then, take care.
Have a good one.